Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. Now, it's the PJ Fleck Show with Pierre Nugent, Ron Johnson, and Justin Gard.
And welcome in, everybody, to the PJ Fleck Show, the final PJ Fleck Show of the season. Joined as always by the head coach of Gopher-football, PJ Fleck, alongside KFAN Justin Gard. And we think somewhere under there is Gophers Hall of Famer Ron Johnson, as everybody is excited for Wisconsin Week, including Ron. Yes, he's ready to go.
Wisconsin Week, baby, let's go.
Everybody's psyched. We're all psyched.
Now I understand.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you were confused at first a little bit.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused.
We were going to talk.
Should be. You didn't get that?
No idea.
See,
no
PJ
idea.
gets it. Only the football players understand.
We'll talk a little bit more.
You're
That's the mindset.
Yeah.
Tennis is a little different.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Wisconsin later in the show. But right now, first, Coach, we need to take a quick step back. Ohio State was as advertised as we saw on Saturday. What made them such a tough out? You guys hung with them, for a solid 30 minutes. In the second half, things just kind of turned around.
We did. I thought we kept ourselves in the game. We had a game plan of what we wanted to be able to do and execute. I thought defensively for the first half, I thought we did a pretty good job of that. But that's how fast when you're playing a team like that, that's that good, that deep. They've done a great job with NIL, done a great job in the portal. They have every resource known to man, and that's the type of team. Whether it's Michigan or Ohio State, they're loaded at every position. And if they lose a guy, they just replace him right in there with another guy that's just as good. And that's a credit to how they've built their roster and the resources they have. First half, I thought we were right in it, though. We just didn't execute well enough to be able to get the ball down the field and pinned them down there a bunch of times, which turned out to be effective. Just a minute and 7 seconds into the second half, it was 2 quick touchdowns. And unfortunately, the game was almost out of reach at that point based on how good they are. But love how hard our kids played.
And when you watch the film, I know everything's always about moving on to the next game. What do you take from the Ohio State game that can, not only this year, but just as a whole for your team to grow on?
Well, we've played some of the best teams in the entire country. And we've played 2 of probably the college football playoff teams. And you know what it looks like. It's like donuts on a baseball bat. Just keep swinging that baseball bat. Eventually you get in the batter's box. It feels better, and it's a lot lighter. And you can go out there and execute and hit the ball. The same thing when you're playing those types of teams. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to execute and be consistent enough across the board in a lot of different areas, whether it's the execution on the field, whether who plays week in, week out. But we got to continue to get better, and we'll learn from all of it.
As those players defensively that we talked about that maybe are playing a little bit too early, we talked about this last week, as they continue to get more experience, including against Ohio State, to use the donut analogy, can you take a donut off this week? I mean, have you seen improvement from the last couple of weeks, especially in that first half against Ohio State?
Absolutely. I mean, a guy like Tyler Stolsky, who's a redshirt freshman, I mean, he's playing way before he should be playing, but he's playing against some of the best teams in the country. He's getting better. He did a lot of things better this week than he did the last few weeks, and that's the improvement you want to see as a coach. It's not always going to come at once. You've got to continue to be able to keep building it for not only the future of the season, but in future years, and that's part of the position we're in right now.
After the game, there was some criticism directed your way in terms of punting in plus territory twice.
What?
Did you catch that?
Listen, it wasn't me. I was very busy prepping the Viking show for the next day, so I don't have time. I don't have time to criticize at this point. But there was some criticism directed your way that I saw, where you punted in plus territory twice in the first half. But can you provide some context to those explanations for those who are on the couch saying, like, what are you punting for? We got to keep going for this opportunity against Ohio State.
Well, I think that you're always going to attack. Every decision you make is to win the game, no matter what. There's different strategies to go to win a game. But we're never going to be reckless. We're going to be smart. And at the time, whether it's 7-0 or it's 10-0 or 13-0, a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3 is very different than 4th and 5. Right? There's not a lot of analytics that say that one's a place to go for it. If you don't get it, you give a very short field to one of the top 5 offenses in the entire country. You don't want to be out of the game in that situation before you can be in the game. You punt the ball, put them inside their 10-yard line. They're not perfect. Let's say it's 7-0 and we punt it down inside their 10, and they do fumble. We get an easy touchdown. There's so many statistics that are tied to inside your 5-yard line. If you can get a punt or you can get a stop, a few times we did, a few times we didn't. But it's easy to go back at the end of the game and say, well, maybe we should have done that if the score was going to be the score it was. But you don't look at it that way. It's 13-0 going into halftime. We're in the football game. Within a minute and 7 seconds, we were out of it, but it had nothing to do with punting at all. But we're going to be smart. We're going to attack. We're going to do everything we can to go win the football game, but we're not going to be reckless.
Sure.
If you recall Ohio State a few years ago, it's 4th and 1 from our own, 26, 27-yard line. It was 10-0. But at that point, that called for that measure to go for it. But it's 4th and 1. It's not 4th and 5, right? But if we didn't get that first down back then, the game was over anyway.
Right.
And so, but the game wasn't over in those calls. That doesn't. There's time for it, and there's time not for it, and that wasn't the time for it. To put our players in the best position as their head coach, where they're looking at you like, thanks for that. All right? We did that at Bowling Green. We didn't get it. The game turned very different. So there's all those types of things, and I'd stand behind all the things we do.
Yeah, and you guys got a chance to play against Marvin Harrison Jr. He didn't do anything. 3 catches, 30 yards. He did have a touchdown. But what do you equate to that, to the defensive backs kind of really doing their job, keeping them in front of them?
Well, he did play the second half, Ron.
Third. He didn't play the fourth quarter.
Ish.
Maybe put the helmet back on. Maybe the helmet will be better.
No, I will say this, that I think he's one of the best players in college football. I mean, he's so big, he's long, he's smooth, he's fluid. He makes everything look so easy, kind of like how you play. You made everything just look like a ballet. He does. When you're watching him play, he eats up so much ground so quickly, but he doesn't even look like he's running.
Yeah.
But when he's running away from people or creating separation the way he does, at the size he is, I mean, that just shows why he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, that touchdown was smooth. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, right? I mean,
well, we actually had it. The problem is we had it double covered. The safety just didn't get over there quick enough.
Yeah.
But it was, believe it or not, that was double coverage, and we just didn't execute well enough.
Ja Joyner, we talked, I think, going all the way back to August about what he could potentially turn into, what he could be. We talked a lot about your defensive line, but he probably leads the Big Ten, certainly the Big Ten West, in holds not called. I said that, you didn't. But from my vantage
point,
point,
agree with you on that.
That's fine. I understand. But what have you seen from his development and his season and just the type of player that he's turned into?
I tell you, from where he was to where he is now is night and day. Off the field, on the field, the type of man he's becoming, the maturity level, understanding the fundamental pieces of his game in the pass rush. One thing he's gotten a lot better at is playing first and second down. Now, I still think he's got a long way to go there, and I think that's what you always want as a coach is, all right, where's the next piece of development for you? He's a really good pass rusher. He's really good on third down. He's improved so much on first and second down, but now we need it to be an all-the-time thing, and I think that's the next step, whether it's this game and as he continues to go into next year where he can really become an exclusive and an elite defensive end, not only just for us or the Big Ten, but the country. And, he's grown up a lot. And I'm glad he's on our team.
Still have one more game left to play in the regular season. We'll talk a little bit more about that game in just a moment. But first, Coach, with how things have gone the last few weeks, what is the mood like with the team that you've noticed over the last couple of days? Now that you're back at practice, going into Wisconsin, what's the mood like with this team?
That's the best thing about going 1-0 every week. It's a one-game championship season. The way we run our program, the themes that we have each week, how we divide last week to this week, how we work our Sundays, it's all done by design, so there is no carryover. I mean, people could talk about a winning streak, losing streak. None of that matters inside our walls. Never has. It's one-game championship seasons. And you can't just say that just after wins or losses. It truly is, no matter what, one-game championship season. Now, this is a little bit like an NCAA tournament. It's the Final Four. You win, you move on. You lose, you're out. And you get to go play for one of the most coveted trophies in college football and one of the greatest rivalries in college football, one of the most historic rivalries in college football. So what better way to have all these things on the line and have that earned pressure than to go out there and go win your last game of the regular season and become 1-0 in the Wisconsin week.
And when you think about Autman Kellickmanis, he's had some ups and downs, but
Sure.
when you see really good things out of him,
Right.
What do you expect with this progression to see in this last game and, possibly a bowl game?
Yeah, I think that, I've seen improvement in every area every week, and that I've seen inconsistency almost in every area every week. And so that's to be expected. What we have to be able to do is eliminate the things that get us beat. And, across the board, not just at the quarterback position, but, the fumble as he drops back or, an incomplete pass that's thrown into the ground. Those are the things we just got to be able to get out of that. And the more he plays, the more confident he's going to be, the less mistakes he's going to make. And that's what you want to see and you hope for in the development as it continues to come forward. But he's learned from his past, that's for sure. And I'm telling you what, at Tuesday's practice, they came out. I'm telling you, I haven't seen this team with more energy in a practice than Tuesday. But that's the development, not just because it's Axe Week. They've just always been able to do that. I mean, this team has loved to practice, loved to get better, and I appreciate that about them.
Well, we have so much more to come here on the PJ Fleck Show. When we come back, we're going to be joined by one of the veterans of this team. Wide receiver Chris Autman-Bell joins us on set. We are certainly looking forward to that. And we'll get Justin a cough drop by the time we come back here on the PJ Fleck Show. Yeah.
To row the boat, you're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the PJ Fleck Show. Joined now by a very special guest here on set, wide receiver Chris Autman-Bell. Chris, first and foremost, welcome to the show, man. Great to see you.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
First and foremost, the fans at home, they probably want to know, how is your health? How are you feeling? And what has the journey been like for you this past year?
It's been a very up and down type of year for me, but it's been amazing. It's been a great journey. I feel healthy. 100% healthy right now. Feel great, feel back to myself. I'm just happy to be healthy. So.
And one-hander on your back, you come down with the catch. Like, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Like, I could see your face. I could see your just like, it was just like a weight was lifted off. What did that moment feel like?
It felt good to me, but I kind of was hard on myself because I dropped one before. I should have caught that one. But it felt good, man, because just being back and coming back from, especially the injury that I had, most guys don't really come back from it and play as good as they could. So to make a play like that, it was something I proved to myself. I was like, man, you still got this, man. You still can play ball. So it was amazing feeling. We lost that game, but it was an amazing feeling for me inside because I made that play. So
yeah, we're getting to look at it right here. The touchdown catch against Purdue is certainly a great play. PJ, we've kind of talked about this before. You've known Chris, his entire life now at this point? By this point, but you've known him for quite a long time. What has it been like for you to watch him work his way back and get on the field and just be a leader for this team?
Yeah, it's not even just getting on the field. I mean, this guy's been through so much. I've known him for 8.5 years, almost 9 years. And you talk about a guy who was committed to another school. I was at another school. We never even saw the play. I didn't see the plays. He never saw the plays. Just took a huge leap of faith to come join us here. And, you know, when you start to think about all the great receivers here that we've had since we've been here, Chris is right there at the top. And when you could talk about specific catches and huge games and huge moments that created the outcome of the game or outcome of the season, and you go back to certain catches, Chris is always at the top of the list of those types of catches he made. But more importantly, just proud of the man he's become. You talk about how much he's grown up and the person he is. I mean, unbelievable husband, father. He can do whatever he wants in this world, and it's been fun to be able to watch him get multiple degrees. It's special, and you know, he's like another kid to us inside our own family. So it's really like being proud of your own son because he's very close to our family, and I'm really proud of him.
And so this picture, everybody can't see it. We have to get it in there maybe, but me, you, Bateman, Eric Decker, Tyler Johnson, big moment for you, Penn State. You now have a chance to have another big moment against Wisconsin. One, I feel the same way like Pete. Like, I feel like a little brother, you know, like I remember talking to you then. We've talked, you know, all the time. Like, you know, and so what is this moment for you knowing the last ride? Because I remember coming out the tunnel the last time, knowing this is the last time I could put this helmet on, which PJ just slapped me in it. That thing was super heavy and hard. But the last time, you know, like, what is that? What are all the emotions you're going through?
It's special. It's really special. He grabbed me this Sunday, actually. He said, just keep the emotions out, man. You can be emotional, but you can show emotion, but don't be emotional about it. So it's a crazy feeling knowing that these 7 years felt even fast, man. Like 7 years felt like 4 or 3. So I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be able to play one more with my brothers. I'm just excited, man, to bring this action one more time. So.
You've accomplished so much in your time here at the U. I feel sheepish asking now because there's still one more, hopefully 2 more games left to play. But when you look back at your time here as a Gopher, what are some of the things that stands out to you?
I would say off the field, if anything, man. I say it all the time. Whenever people ask me whether I got to talk about it, this is a life program, man. I literally came here as a boy, and I left here as a man. Like, when I came here, I had no facial hair. I'm here with a beard now. So it's a life program, man. It taught me everything, athletically, academically, socially, and spiritually. It taught me everything, man. This coach has done everything for me. It taught me the ins and outs, how to be a man, how to take accountability for myself, how to be a leader. So it's taught me everything, man. I'm just grateful.
And you've had, like I said, you've had him now 7 years. You know, this is probably the longest coach-receiver relationship ever in the history of college football. But, yeah, what is that going to be like, you know, walking to the locker room knowing, hey, you know, this is it. We got to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we've done this 3 times.
Three times.
That's the thing. Like, his first after 5 years we did it. After 6 years we did it. And now we're going to do it after 7 years. I mean, he even talked about even walking. He's like, I don't know if I want to walk. I said, you're walking one more time, and you're going to walk. You're going to walk for your mom. You're going to walk for me this time because this is for sure it. It really is. I talked to him about that. You know, we both could be really emotional about it, but we have a job to do on Saturday. You know, we've talked about this an awful lot. We talked about this even last year before he came back for his 7th year. The relationship's not going to end, and that's what's great about this is that it goes on forever. It just happens to be, you know, one of the last games he gets a chance to play in, last home game he gets to play in, and I want him to take all that in, but not take away from having him have the best performance he can have. And so it will be after the game. It'll be more emotional than probably prior to it. But I can't thank him enough for what he's done for our program and the type of young man he's become.
Chris, I know you want to win every single game, but you know, given what's at stake this Saturday, win makes you bowl eligible. You get to extend your career at least one more game in that instance. Just how much do you feel like there's so much at stake, and how much do you just want to play one more game?
It's amazing, man. Feelings like this, man, you to bring on pressure, it's just like a great feeling, man. I enjoy it. The feeling of pressure, man, it's amazing. Like what's at stake for us, bringing on the axe, extending our season, and just keep playing with my brothers, man. It's amazing. As an athlete and as a competitor, you wouldn't want any other feeling to have. So, I'm excited, man. I got 4 more days here with these guys for sure, but hopefully we can extend it. But I'm just excited, man. Today was a great practice today. Tomorrow I can't wait to fly around early in the morning. So it's just one of those things where, like, as a perspective thing, that's like the last week, man. So you got to really push and go. So I'm just excited, man. Just grateful for this opportunity.
Well, we are certainly happy to see you healthy and back on the field. Best of luck this Saturday, and we look forward to seeing you one more time at Huntington Bank Stadium. Chris Autman-Bell, everybody. We have so much more to talk about on the other side of the break here on the PJ Fleck Show. When we come back, we'll go behind enemy lines. We'll talk a little bit more about Saturday's matchup against the Badgers. That's next on the PJ Fleck Show.
Row the boat. You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Down a man for the final segment here, but we wish Justin Guard all the very best. Let's look ahead to Saturday's matchup against Wisconsin.
He's okay, everybody.
He's fine. JG's
IR. He went on IR.
Let's look at Saturday's matchup against Wisconsin. You know, I don't think I really have to say much. It's the game we all look forward to every single year. But what type of challenge does this Wisconsin team pose, PJ?
Well, they just have athletes all over. They do a great job. Phil Longo, their offensive coordinator, does a great job of getting his playmakers in space. They spread you out. They can get really small really quickly, meaning they can come down condensed formations. They got Braylon Allen in the backfield, who seems like he just continues to play. And we had Chris for 7 years. This guy seems like he's played for 7 years. One of the biggest, best backs in the country. They've got Mordecai, who came over from SMU, who's a great passer. Coming off an injury, but doesn't look like he's affected by it at all. And they got a really good defense. 8 of the 11 starters back from last year. But they're definitely different schematic-wise than they were last year on both sides of the ball. But when you look at their talent, look what they do, and look how they try to control the game, there's a lot of similarities.
When you look at Braylon Allen, he brought that up. He's been up and down, playing some games sitting out due to injury. When you think about him playing this game, and then also that play action, because he does require a lot of eyes on him, how do you have your safeties prepared to, not get sucked up into some of that?
Well, the part of it is, they make sure that your safeties have to cover plus stop the run at the same time almost, so because they've spread you out so much that you have to be able to play a lot of man coverage at times, and they're either going to beat you with the run or beat you in single coverage, so you got to be able to stop both. But he draws a lot of attention, that's for sure. And he can break tackles, and you better swarm tackle him, because if you do not, he's going to the house.
You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. With so much at stake on Saturday, because if you win, you're bowl eligible. If it's a loss, the season comes to a short end. But do you like that kind of scenario here for you guys? I mean, it's like with something like this on stake, it just makes it gives a little extra more punch to the game.
It's been different than years past, right? And I think that every year presents its own challenges. It presents its own opportunities. this has been different for us. You know, we've been bowl eligible the last however many years of full regular season, so we didn't have to worry about the bowl eligibility after you cross 6.
Right.
But this has been different, and it's a different challenge, and you're going to be excited for the challenge in front of you. And I told them, I said, this is going to prepare you for life. This is going to prepare you for next year. This is going to prepare you for, you know, the next month. Pressure is earned. Pressure is important to have. We have a lot of it. We need to embrace it. And our best players have to play their best football game. We still have not played our best football. If you listen to last night's interview after the football game and the NFL game, the quarterback sitting there talking about we still haven't played our best game. Jalen Hurts is talking from the Eagles. We still haven't played our best game. And that's the NFL, and that's 9 games, 10 games into it. Well, 11 games into it. We're the same way. We still haven't played our best football. And the pressure and the demand is there's no better time than the present because we only have 3 hours left. So we have to find a way to be able to do that on Saturday.
Saturday's an emotional game. Warm-ups can get really like over-emotional with just like guys getting too hyped, guys getting too ready to play. How do you control the emotions of pregame with the seniors, but then the emotion of just this is Axe week, we want to go punch them in the mouth, but hey, let's relax. Let's take this 1 quarter at a time.
And you got about 30 seconds, by the way.
Yeah, it's a one-game championship season mentality. Yeah. They've played in incredible venues. We've played in huge games this year. We've won some. We've lost some. That won't be an issue at all. We've played in some of the most hostile environments in the country, played against some of the best teams in the country. I'm not worried about that. Like I said, that's why you want to play with incredible emotion. You just don't want to cross the line into emotional because that starts draining you. So our players are pretty prepared for that.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to another classic showdown between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Don't forget, you can join us on the Gopher pregame show this Saturday as we get you ready for kickoff. And our thanks, of course, to PJ for another great season of the PJ Fleck Show here on Fox 9. Join us next season, everybody, for more of the PJ Fleck Show.